¿Qué tal, amigos? It's Mike. Living Walks. And we're here in Barcelona. I feel for some reason I should launch into song at that point, but I'll spare you that, shall I? So, Barcelona Beach. So there are 4 beaches here, right next to the city, part of the city. This one, it's called San Sebastián. And if you've seen our Sidges video, you know there's one called San Sebastián there. That building in distance is the W Hotel, W Barcelona. Shaped like a sail. It's a 5-star. Little controversial. A lot of people like it. A few people have complained about its environmental aspect. But hey ho. So this area is Barceloneta. It's the whole district, and it's easy to get to. So if you're on Las Ramblas, main thoroughfare in the city, this is about 25 minutes walk. But you can get the yellow tube line. That's metro number 4. That will get you out here. And who'd have thought? You can be in a great metropolitan city, the most visited city in Spain, and have beaches like this with gorgeous blue water. Let's come this way. There is actually a very small 5th beach. That's a private beach. It's up on one of these balconies. I don't actually know which balcony it is, but there's a very small one. Somebody says it's used as a cat litter tray. But anyway, it's known as the unofficial 5th beach. If I find out where it is, I'll take a little video of it at the end. So the cable car you see there, that will take you to Montjuic Hill, quite famous, right into the heart of the city. And the sculpture here, don't know if you notice, but around the edges, figures. So this is a homage really to water sports here. I'm going to take a walk along the beach, see what it's like. This is a Monday. We're in April. It's about 16 degrees today. Feels warmer. It really feels like summer has arrived. So it's hard to believe when you look at this area here. It used to be an old fishing village, so it really goes back to 1754. And pretty much it was only fishermen who used to come here. And then after that, really, it's got known as a bit of a shanty town. A lot of the city poor would be living here. It was very low rise. It was low rise simply so it didn't obscure the view from the city to the city. But really, all this development happened for the Olympics, as so much does in the world, doesn't it, really? The 1992 Olympic Games, Summer Games were held here, and as part of that, Barcelona renovated this whole area. And they really created 3 kilometers of, well, recreational space here on the beach. Let's have a little walk on the beach a second. So the beach then is artificial. Now, I don't mean it's made of plastic, fiberglass, no, it's sand. It's not the best sand in the world, but it is sand. And it's all been imported, so it's imported from Egypt. And of course, because it's not natural here, it doesn't get replenished naturally, so I guess every year they have to import more as sand gets washed away. So I see plenty of water sports happen here. Lots of windsurfing. Lots of sailing. I'll tell you what, I'm feeling a draw down to the sea. I'm just going to indulge you. If you're like me, you've been starved of sunshine for the last few months, and the sound of the sea. There we are. A little treat. So let's head on up. Let's talk about Barcelona. So if you didn't know it already, Barcelona is the most popular city or most visited city in Spain, and it's the 5th most visited in Europe. Again, wasn't always that way. In fact, before Spain joined the EU in the 80s, often said to be, well, you know, people would advise you from coming here a little bit dodgy. But all that renovation, all that European money really improved the city for the local people, the infrastructure. And obviously that happened again when they got the grant for the Olympics. Now most cities, when they get the Olympic grant, they use it to build new stadiums. Barcelona was pretty canny, so they had a great stadium already. So what they did was they used that money, a little bit of the money, just to tart it up, enhance it, and then they used the rest of the money just to improve the city. And they did quite a lot. So, you know, they improved, kind of, they added, well, like 70% of parkland, or beaches. Sewage system was improved by, you know, a good quarter, expanded. I'm just showing you here down by the way, the little side streets. So this is what it's like. It was built on a grid pattern, bit of a sort of military style pattern. And you can see all the little metal balconies down here. So it's a little bit early. Well, the cafes are just opening up. We thought we'd get down here a bit early before the wind picks up. Pretty amazing to think, isn't it, that you've got this on your doorstep if you live here. Reminds you a little bit like Malaga. So Malaga, again, one of our really favourite Spanish cities, and again it's got that great beach area. You might be wondering where Yvonne is today. She's right behind me. She's in my rucksack. Oh, she's just next to me. It tends to be quite demanding, these walks, having to remember what to say, to respond to what we're seeing around us. So today she's handling breathing. So doing two things at once can be quite demanding, like filming, talking. Well, that's two already. So I'm particularly demanding what I like to offload breathing to Yvonne. She's very good. She's done yoga since she was a newt, a tiny little tadpole. Since she was very small. And so yeah, she's doing breathing for both of us. In fact, so I can feel that she's feeling quite relaxed at the minute because my breathing's getting quite still. In fact, I'm getting a little bit sleepy, so I am wondering, what are you doing? All right, okay, yeah, she's very, very relaxed. Just round the corner from here, walking distance, we've got an area called Port Vell. It's a little, like a sort of an island effectively, connected by bridges. It's very busy. And so it's well known particularly for, there's a huge shopping centre. One of my favourite activities, not. So the Mare Magnum, and not named after the ice cream. But also there's a big IMAX cinema. There's a particularly well known aquarium. And of course there's the Museum of Catalonia History, because we are in Catalonia. Catalonia is one of 17 regions in Spain. Once of course it was under its own control, own rule. Would still wish it to be that way. Because we're in Catalonia, the reminder too. So there are two languages spoken here. So the Spanish that you're probably more used to, Castilian. And there is Catalan. Have a look at the bridge. This is where all the men go during the day, playing dominoes down below. So Catalan is not, it's not a dialect, so don't say it's a dialect. People don't tend to like that. It's fully fledged language of its own. And again, I've probably mentioned it in another video. When you see it written, there's some definite French qualities to it. But then that's understandable, isn't it, really, when you think of where we are. So we're up north in Spain. So it's a great city beach if you come down here. Don't be surprised as you're sitting on your towel if you get approached by people. And along with the usual people selling ice cream and cokes, etc., you're going to find the mojito men. Yep, that's right. You can lay on the beach and get served a mojito. Does life get any better? And you'll see a lot of Asian-looking women providing massages. And don't be surprised too, depending when you come and which beach you're on, if you find, well, first of all, topless bathing is pretty normal here, but you'll also find that the men too like to indulge. So if you don't mind a full frontal, come on down. Let's have a little back look, see where we've come from. It is said that this area was an inspiration for Cervantes and a particular fight scene in Don Quixote. So if you don't know of Don Quixote, it's said to be the world's first novel. And if you get a chance to read it, don't let that put you off, because it's extremely good. Anyway, there is a fight scene between Don Quixote and the Knight of the White Moon, and it's said to have been inspired by this location as a setting. Open air gym out there, and it seems a really good one. It looks quite new. So you fancy being outside, do some calisthenics, bit of CrossFit, practice your muscle ups. This is a place to do it. Probably a little different than, say, Venice Beach in America. It's not all heavy iron, so this is more about life athleticism here in Spain, rather than just get as large as you can possibly get. Now, you're probably wondering what that large bowl thing is up ahead. So depending which direction the sun is coming from, it'll look a little bit differently because it catches the light. So it's a golden colour, stainless steel sculpture. It's built by Frank Gehry, so he was a Canadian artist and sculptor. And it's a fish. I think you might be able to see that it's a fish. In fact, it's called the is it the Pêche Olympique? So the Olympic fish, or the Pêche de Frank Gehry. Frank Gehry's fish. It's far away, so you probably can't tell how big it is, but it's 52 meters long. Oh, look at that. That seems a bit unusual, doesn't it? Do you see that? No, not the grey car. I see lots of those, but the thing behind it. Unusual. Let us proceed. So the fish basically creates a hat for the building underneath it, and it's a casino, and it's there's a restaurant complex there. We're going to walk up to it. Another teasing glance at the beach. Barcelona's been voted the world's best beach city. I can't, of course, verify exactly what the competition was. Was the competition held in Barcelona and voted on by Barcelona residents? I have no idea. You need to know the context, don't you, to all these things. Have you noticed the palm trees? Coming down here in the day, come down early. But of course, if you want atmosphere, you'll stay to the evening. So it really livens up. Bars stay open fairly late. People come down from work to hang out on the beach, have a drink, spend some time with friends, make sandcastles, wear small hats, empty their bags, and then carefully arrange the contents and put them back. To dream of what will happen when the albatross goes extinct. To pick the chewing gum out their flip-flops. To muse on the benefits of salted versus unsalted butter. That keeps me awake at night. If you're thinking of coming to Barcelona, it's a good place to come. Do yourself a favour. Don't just come for a day or 2 days. If you can get here for a minimum of 3, maybe even 4, that's just perfect. You won't be rushing around. There's so much to see in the city, and then of course you've got this here. It's kind of unusual, isn't it? Big kind of bird's nest. That's the local cat shelter. Don't get that many stray cats, but the stray cats they do find here are well looked after. Each have a minimum of a 3 or 4 bed condominium, and hopefully, of course, at some point they are rehoused with a loving family. But yes, allow plenty of time here, because also you do want to go to Sitges. Yes, you do. That is a subconscious command. Surprisingly, or not surprisingly, by now we'll probably have a video up of Sitges. I suggest you go and have a look. It is delightful and it's a lovely place. Stay overnight there if you can. If you want a full day there, you can make it just a one day trip is fine. But start early. It's not just a beach town. It's got history, some great old monuments, some lovely crinkly medieval back streets, great food. My helicopter is circling, so it's not too far off my pickup time, but I think we've got another 10 minutes or so, so let's keep watching.
Do you know your way, bro? No.
So, like many things, the distant, glistening, fishy sculpture doesn't look quite as interesting, does it really? We're going to have a little walk over, see all the pretty boats. Another view of Frank Gehry's fish. Frankfurt is famous for a number of fish sculptures. Frankfurt's halibut is not known by many, and that's generally because it's very difficult to actually go and see it. So it's kept under lock and key. It's only available to see once a year, and again only by invite. And it has to be viewed under special lighting conditions. But I'm told that if you're into sculptures of halibut, it's probably the best one that's ever been made. Aha, Pasha. I didn't know Pasha was here. We were talking about Pasha on the Sitges Walk. So Pasha started in Sitges. It was in the 60s, wasn't it? You can see the familiar two cherries, their logo. Wasn't always like that, of course. Their first logo was an eye. And it was inspired by a famous actress. Was it Carmen Sevilla? I believe it was. I should remember that because I only did the walk yesterday. And so, I think we've seen, or we're going to see, and let's finish here, my beautiful people. Barcelona Beach. Get yourself down here. You know you want to. So I think you're really going to enjoy it. Yeah, see, you thought I wasn't going to say that, didn't you? Got it in at the end. All right, take care. I'm off for a coffee. Till the next one.